Relax, the keyboard is off, the press box is closed, and the mic is just getting warmed up as the Guardian of the Blue Paint is about to enlighten us. The show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. For this week's show, join us as we celebrate the Big 5-0. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Join Lance and Steel as we bring you all the latest on the Flyers.
Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of the Hockey Writers Inc. As always, I'm your host, Lance Green.
Oh man, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Green is in the house. Oh yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. I am the co-host, SteelFlyers. Thank you very much for stopping in and checking out the Hockey Writers Inc. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Green, the great host, is back. All right. How you doing, my man?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Flyers have been winning. They've been doing well. They've been playing well in spite of a whole bunch of things. And Lance, you have written quite a plethora of articles over the last little while here that we're going to get into. So it ain't like you ain't been busy. Right?
Yeah, I'm set. Let's do it.
Okay, that's a good deal. All right, folks. Unsung Heroes of the Flyers seasons so far is the name of this episode number 51. And we're going to get right into it here. Lance has a total of 2 articles that we want to get into here. And one of these articles was about an underrated Finnish prospect for the 2022 NHL Draft. And it is never, as far as I'm concerned, too early to start considering the next crop of prospects that's going to come up through to be on this team. And when you look at the amount of players that have been drafted and brought into this team in the last 3 years since Fletcher has been here, right? A good portion of those players are now playing in the AHL, or some of them have even, are knocking on the door, right? More so than some of the Hextall players. Okay. Yeah. Are banging on the door to be getting ice time with the big club. Okay. And so this is why I love when we do these shows. This is why I love reading what you write, Lance, because you always have, even though you've got your finger on the pulse of the team right now, you always have a glass to the future. You always have an eye scouting. You always have an eye looking at that next prospect player that could be the next, the next one that could come in here to help this team win. And we're going to get into that here. Posted earlier on Flyers Nitty Gritty, another great one, an underrated Finnish prospect the Flyers should take a look at in the 2022 NHL Draft. And man, from the Blue Paint Guardian turned writer, now that there are a few others on the team, let's get some more, right?
Yeah.
Some more Finnish players. Come on, let's go, pile on. Come on, everybody, call your Finnish friends. No, I'm just kidding. But listen, Lance, you mentioned Brad Lambert and Kimmel. Yakaman?
Yeah, both those guys are going to be, top 10 talents. And both are from Finland, and both are already playing in the KHL, and that's great. But they're going to be long gone before the Flyers are going to be picking this year. And I try to keep my eye on where I think some of the prospects that are going to be there actually when the Flyers make their selections. So this player that I came up with is one of those guys that name may not be as well known on some of the draft boards and everything else that are starting to creep out first, second editions of who they think will be selected. But I think it's a guy whose name is fastly rising, and who could be there. as early as even the first round, even
Okay.
end of the first
Yeah,
round
yeah.
when the
Okay.
Flyers make that selection this year. So
Okay, I got you. So and let's face it, we all think that Joachim Kimmel and Brad Lambert are probably the two Finnish players that'll probably be long gone before the Flyers will ever get a sniff at those, right? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about here. But
for sure,
now, good gravy. Hang with me. I'm gonna say it.
it's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, and Alexis Santeri
Yes.
Kazumazaki.
That's how I pronounce it as well. So I'm sure if he's gets drafted and is wearing the black and orange, then he may
We'll learn
correct
it.
us. We'll learn it a little bit better, but
Until then.
until then, that's what we'll go with.
Right. How about
Right
if we
now,
call him Alexanteri? Alexanteri.
for
I don't
sure.
know, man. Let's go with
Sure.
that. All right. So, but what is it about Alexanteri that has piqued your interest?
Well, this guy would fit nicely with, like you already said, the guys that are already here. Now, the Flyers selected a pretty darn good Finnish player last season who, like you already alluded to, is already at the Phantoms level playing. So, we need somebody to go with him naturally, right? Somebody from his home country, maybe. And this guy could step in and play very, very interesting brand of hockey that the Flyers have lacked for a long time. The Flyers have not drafted many Finnish players for some time now. The last decent one that they actually drafted was Joni Pikkinen, and he was not one of my favorites when he was on the Flyers.
Oh man.
Anyway, so in saying that, since that time, the Flyers have since had Kimmo Timonen and have a
Okay.
pretty gigantic one on the back end right now in Restalainen that they traded for. So it looks like once again the Flyers are going to, maybe have an open mind at least about filling some European talent that's not Swedish, and able to make the Flyers, opening night roster soon enough, maybe.
I'm with you.
So, in saying that, Alex, I'll just call him Alex. But
That's a good one.
he's had some amazing stats pop off in the juniors for Finland so far.
So
Now,
far. Well, he's
back
only played what, 13 games so far?
well, that was at the time of writing this, yeah, but it
Okay.
looks like he's up to 15 games right now.
Okay.
And he has 14 goals in that 15 game span and 10 assists for 24 points.
Wow.
All which is amazing in its own right. But at the same token, he's also a plus 16. So
Oh yeah.
he can get back and play some defense as well. Now he looks to be a center, but he can play left wing as well. So I really think he would be an amazing talent to have, play alongside Tumla in the near future and give somebody that speaks that language and some comfortability within the system and just another shooter. Alex is an amazing talent. If you watch the videos that I posted
Yes.
in my article, there's not a whole lot of game tape out on him just yet because he's not in the SHL.
Yeah, he's playing in
So,
the Finnish junior.
yeah, he's playing in the Finnish junior, which doesn't produce as much game tape and stuff as
Yeah.
I would like. But
Well.
right. But that's said to be a lot. So, um, I think he's different in the mindset that he's a shoot first guy. He's a Cam Atkinson, if you will, out there. If you put a good pass on his tape blade, he's going to put it on net. And he takes what is given to him, which I like as well. He doesn't have a particular spot that he's looking for every, time he lets go of a shot. He simply takes what the goalie gives him. And if that goalie leaves something open, he's sure to put that puck placement right there. And that is his keen eye and ability to put that puck exactly where it needs to go. That allows him to be lighting up the Finnish junior leagues right now. So just an amazing talent offensively.
Such a keen talent and one so young.
Yes. It's definitely, some unique offensive prowess that this kid has. And, he just has that European, scoring touch that the Flyers haven't had in a long time. We have a lot of Canadians. We're getting some, Americans on the roster and in the system right now. But, it's been quite a while since the Forsbergs or something has, been drafted and come along through the Flyers system. So
yes,
this kid could be, I know he's Swedish, yes, but some of these guys that so many big names are out there, in the Finnish hockey system right now, in the NHL with Barkov and Ratinen and Line and now Anton.
Even Ristolainen. I mean, yeah, you'd even have to say, you'd even have to put Ristolainen in there too. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he's a defenseman, but he's definitely a guy that will step up and take a nice shot. And I think that is what the Flyers are really missing. Some European talent that could come in and score some goals and just be able to, rifle the puck off at will. So
that has a nice ring to it, even if it is off the pipe. I don't care.
Right.
I mean, look, the fact that this player has all the tools already at such a young age, he has the size already at such a young, I mean, what is he, 17, 18 years old?
Yeah, he's 17. He's not quite 18. He's 6 foot tall. He's, pushing 190.
Right, 185, something like that.
185 right now. So, by the end of the season, he's probably still going to be able to put on a couple of pounds. And, it just works for him. His game is simplistic, but, what coach isn't going to love a guy that just wants to put the puck on net?
It's funny because we talk about these players on the show, and this is show 51 now, by the way, just to let everybody know. And we talk about all these players on the show for these prospects and these draft picks. And then it's kind of funny because we get to circle back around them when these players get picked by other teams and are doing really well. And the Flyers picked somebody not the player that we feel they should be selecting. See, Chuck, you need to be listening to the show. See?
Yeah. What I think the last good prospect I think I was raving about was Devon Levy.
Yes.
That's
why I mentioned that. That's
a goaltender that has been traded even from Florida because they, of course, have Spencer Knight, but now is in, I think, Buffalo's system and thriving at Northwestern, I believe. Having an amazing season already.
That kid's really good too. He was really good too in World Juniors. So good.
Oh God, yes, good grief.
Watching him play too. I mean, it's like I can't believe that Florida had those two goalies. It was like, and
nobody
you had
else
Bob
is gonna
too.
take them.
Yeah, and you had Bob too. You're like, oh well, okay. So let's talk about the orange and black. So we don't really care about those cats down there in that orange state anyway. But really like this Alexei Zandrakid or whatever, or Alexei Santeri. I really like his game. I really have liked what I've seen of the footage. And then, usually when you put footage out there, I usually then go digging for a little more to see
Right.
if I can see some more.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's tough.
it is. But you get to see, like, if you watch it again and again, you get to see tendencies about a player. You get to see how they prefer to shoot. You get to see how they approach the goaltender when they're coming up to the goaltender, or how, you know what I mean? You just kind of get to see certain things about a player. And when you watch enough of it, you get to, you get to learn more tendencies and things like that. And so watching more and more tape, hey, what? Hey, look, I'm all down for watching that. I'm all down for watching that, especially when you see somebody like a player like this that could potentially fall into the Flyers' lap late round in the first round, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of places don't even have him anywhere close to the first round. He is that underrated, but I think by season's end, the way he is going, and definitely if he gets a call up to the SHL later on in the season, he could very well be, finding himself just rifling up the mock draft boards. So I really like this kid, and he's definitely got a scorer's touch. So we'll see.
Get your abacuses out right now. Get your stone and chisels. No, I'm just kidding. Just get your paper and pencil out there and mark this down here. Alexis Centauri is what we feel that the Flyers should be looking at as far as who they should be taking in the first round. So I really like this pick. I really think he is a perfect example of a Philadelphia Flyer. He has that, exactly what you're talking about. He has that mentality. His game is so much more mature, and for him to have that kind of vision already at that age, you know what I mean, and to be able to put that biscuit wherever he wants, that's a rarity. Okay, that really is. Okay, and that's somebody that has taken some time to hone their craft at such a young age.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why he isn't up there already in the SHL along with Lambert and all. But I would really like to see him get tossed up there, because I don't think he's being challenged too much when he's scoring a goal a game in juniors. But we'll see where he falls. There is a lot of right-hand shot defensemen in this draft, and I think the Flyers will go after one of them if one is there as well. So it's difficult to see, because they just are not found all the time. But this draft has a lot of them. So
yeah, and it is something that the AV system covets.
Sure.
Okay, and so obviously that's going to probably be the priority, depending on how things go this year and how things end up with certain other players either being re-signed or let go, or however things go with that. You know what I mean? But that's a discussion for another show, because there's something else that I want to get into, and that's the other article that you put out. And I'm telling you what here, folks, this one is still dripping. Right, the ink isn't even dry on that. The ink isn't dry. Hey, all right. Just posted just today, the Flyers' unsung heroes of the season so far on FlyersNittyGritty.com. And Lance, I have to tell you, I feel 100% the same as you about this article, and so glad that you wrote it so that we can talk about it. Okay, because you're gonna hear some crazy stuff here, folks, coming out of my mouth later in this show. Okay, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
Yes, and see, you're forcing me to talk about this, aren't you? See, I know why you wrote this. See, he's just trying to get back at me. All right, I get it.
So.
Okay. Look, Kevin Hayes is going to travel with the team, I think, because that's what he's tried to
gear towards. Yeah.
Trying to come back, slowly. He missed the start of the season so far, and who has stepped in but a certain Derrick Broussard?
Yeah. it's an amazing job he is doing so far. Broussard, a 34-year-old center who is very well traveled and signed to a very modest $825,000 this offseason by the Flyers. Has been given the task, all year long. To replace Hayes, a team's second line center, who gets paid over $7 million this season. And he's really just done so and stepped in and played flawlessly. Anybody I think in their right mind would love to get a chance to play alongside Farabee and Cam Atkinson, but it's a bigger ordeal than you think, and a lot more pressure in that sense, because not only are you expected to produce if you're a top six forward, you are also supposed to and expected to produce, chances for Farabee and Cam Atkinson, who are put on that ice to score the goals for the team. So, Derrick has done, really just that. He's before tonight's game. We're filming as the Penguins are getting, playing right now. So, before this game, the numbers that, Broussard was really able to put out there, and just 1 goal, but 5 assists and 6 points in 8 games played for a guy that, didn't even really have a spot picked out for him before the season started or training camp started.
Kind of a swing guy.
Has really just jumped in and been able to fill a huge hole left behind in Hayes' absence in these first couple of games. And he's really just got to be applauded because, on top of that, he's a +7 before this game that they're playing currently while we're filming this. So it's amazing how he has been able to step in and, with his 900 plus NHL games of experience, really step in and allow no such, falter to come from that second line with Kevin Hayes being out there. It was definitely concerning before the end of the season, where Morgan Frost was really placed in that spot in the lineup for a long time during training camp, and really didn't do anything with it. So the team, I think, had to scramble to find somebody else, because they thought that Frost was going to be able to shine, or at least
whatever,
be given a chance to try to do that. But he didn't. So the team was grasping at straws and really threw Broussard to the wolves with very little time on the ice in preseason to play with these two guys. And
that's true. Yeah,
it's really just came together so quickly for these 3 players this season. And, especially earlier on in the season, where, they were all over a point per game player, even a point and a quarter game player on that line very early on, and led to where the team has been able to, I think they were 4th in the Metro right before this game. So, who could think of that with both Kevin Hayes and of course Ryan Ellis being out? So
exactly, and we'll get into that here in just a second. But the fact that Broussard was one of those sneaky little Fletcher moves. There was not a lot of fanfare. There was not it was barely even on the news ticket that day. You know what I mean? It was like, Philadelphia Flyers signed Derrick Broussard to an $825,000 contract. Oh, and now suddenly, you know what I mean? It was like, Oh, they signed Derrick Broussard, really? Oh, okay. Look, I really felt he was going to be one of those type of people, especially when I saw that Kevin Hayes had gone down, and that pretty much coincided relatively around the same time that Derrick Broussard was brought in. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't brought in right there at the beginning of the free agency.
No.
You know what I mean? He was kind of a late pickup, and I think it was because of the whole Kevin Hayes thing and the fact that, like what you mentioned before, they were grasping at straws because Frost didn't make the cut, right? And so they bring in this guy who's 34 years old but has over 900 games of experience and has just played well, very, very well. You do not notice it. Look, you're going to see an improvement, obviously, when Hayes comes back. He's faster and, he's got a little bit more, snap
size
to him
and
size, But all things considered, for a second-line center, one goal and 5 assists in 8 games, I'm happy with that. The fact that he's only making $825,000 a year, kudos, Mr. Fletcher. That was the bargain of the century as far as I'm concerned.
That's cheaper than most prospects would make when they're getting called up. So
exactly, because most entry-level contracts start at either 825 or 925 or 725, something like that, right? That's what they start at, All right, but it's for 3 years. Okay. All right. Here is where the microphones are going to break. The windows are going to crack.
Crow is going to be eaten.
Crow's going to be eaten. and foot is going to be removed.
Inserted.
No, removed. Removed from mouth. Okay. Yes, I'm going to admit that I was very tough on a certain player that you mentioned in this article who has played exceptionally well in the time that he's been asked to play in the place of Ryan Ellis. Okay. Ryan Ellis was brought into this team to be that stalwart top pairing for Provorov. Okay. And let's face it, I think he is that guy.
I think he is.
And when he is healthy, I think he is that guy. We just need to get him back healthy. Okay. Now, this player that we're talking about that you mentioned in your article that's right, folks, Justin Braun. Okay. Now, I can tell you that of all the games that I've watched this year, which has been every single one, some of them more than once, just because, we're sick like that. Braun has only been a liability 3 times so far this year, meaning that he's only cost the team 3 goals, okay, due to his mistakes or him being a liability. Of those 3 times, he has played exceptionally well beyond those mistakes. He has played in top pair minutes with Provorov. He has gotten some assists. He's gotten some points. He is a +7 player now, right? Okay.
Was a +8. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm saying this. I'm saying that I agree with everything that you said in your article about Justin Braun. I am taking back some of what I said about Justin Braun and say that I have been wholeheartedly impressed with how well he has played in the last 5 or 6 games with the Ryan Ellis thing being out. With that said, it comes with a caveat. There is no way on this planet that he will be able to maintain 24 minutes a game. So this is just a Band-Aid. So the sooner Mr. Ellis can get back, you get what I'm going with that, right?
For sure. I mean, it's a is he back yet kind of thing for me for Ellis. as well. Just every day checking to see if he's, back out on the ice with the team.
Yeah.
And, when is he going to get back in the lineup? The team has been without this type of defensive, right-hand shot guy for a long time. And especially, the type of points he was able to put up in just the 3 games that he was in there. He was definitely an exciting addition this year. But I think the team knew that they were almost expecting this to happen at times this season and, further because, he has played for a long time in the NHL, even though he's 30. But hopefully he's able to get back out there soon. But in the interim, Braun has really stepped up. And I am not the biggest Braun fan either. He is good at what he is. He's a third pairing defenseman in my mind. And when he's able to play in that, third pairing role, he's not that bad.
Effective.
But, he's effective in that role. Yes. That's a good way to put it. But like Steel said, in the Edmonton game, I think he played upwards of 23 plus almost 24 minutes, and this simply is not going to last for an extended period of time, where the Flyers are going to be able to get this type of not only offense but defensive, ability. I think they've lucked out and played some teams that, you would think, Edmonton would have burned them worse, Braun worse with his, slower lumbering skating
Florida
ability
exposed.
out there, and
Florida exposed.
But I think Florida was able to expose that as well a lot better. They had a lot more people out there that could skate by him. And I think they had a lot better game plan for the Connor McDavids and Draisaitl's. Every time they stepped on the ice, they had 3 people surrounding them in an orange jersey or whatever. So, but kudos to both of these players. That's why I wrote this article. Both these guys have stepped up and been able to play and fill in very well during these 2 players, absence. And I really just am looking forward to what the team's going to do with Broussard, mainly when Kevin Hayes comes in there. I think he's possibly going to get that third line going more so. And I'm interested to see, that as well, because I think, as well as the first 2 lines have been doing offensively, that third line, Lindblom and others, and JVR, even though he just got a goal recently, haven't been able to really get it going. And I want to see, Lawton maybe drop down to that 4th line. I don't know. I think that would really be nice addition. I really like McEwen's play as well. Just a lot more ability to move guys around once Hayes and Ellis are able to get back in this lineup. So
I'm with you on that too. And then I also think too that depending on whenever the timetable is for Wade Allison, I think,
of course.
Yeah, I think, that those are going to be some good problems that the Flyers are going to have, you know what I mean? And so, look, I do not have a problem with walking back and admitting that I was wrong. I do not have a problem with saying that I was completely and utterly overly critical of Chuck Fletcher with what he did with the team this past season, and then was complimentary to him with what he did in the offseason. I was very critical of Justin Braun because he was a liability to the Philadelphia Flyers, and when the guy is playing well, I'm going to be complimentary to the guy because he's playing well. Still not one of my favorite players. Is Ryan Ellis back yet? Did we see a news? No? All right. Okay. So I'm admitting that I was critical of Justin Braun. I felt some of my points were valid, but I have been overly impressed with how he has stepped up and played above and beyond where I feel his tool belt is capable of taking him. Because I'm with you. If you keep him to like 7 or 8 minutes a night, or maybe 10 or 11, maybe, and not put him on any of the power plays or penalty kills or anything like that, then yeah, he can be effective. Okay. That's just kind of where I'm at on him. You know what I mean? So I want to thank you for writing this great article, because I also feel too that Broussard was another player that brings something else to the table here for this team, that, he's a little bit more grittier. He's not afraid to take somebody into the boards. You know what I mean? And that's kind of something else too that the Flyers have been lacking too. You know what I mean?
I do. And I think that has really helped both Cam Atkinson and Farabee as well, because Derrick's not afraid to get in the gritty areas and win some board battles and fight along the goal mouth to get the puck, in a rebound sense, or get it back to one of these, great players that can rifle it back in on net after that. So, I think he complements both of those guys very well with his aggressive playing style. And of course, AV likes him as well because he gets back and plays some good defense as well. So, that is a great addition to not only the team, but this line especially. I think, Kevin Hayes will do much of that as well when he gets back in there. So, I'm not really worried about the change or, lack thereof when he comes back. It's not going to change when Hayes gets put back in there. And who knows, they may leave Broussard up there for a while until Hayes is able to work himself into playing that many minutes a night. Maybe they play Hayes on the third line when he comes back in and tries to get that revamped, a little bit. And not have to feel they need to throw him right back into the fire playing so many minutes a night. Who knows? Exactly. We'll see. Like you said, it's a lot of good problems to have with the lineup getting healthier. And, definitely some big question marks that they're going to have to really ask of who comes out of the lineup. And that's, does McEwen come out? Does Nick Seeler come out? I am a huge fan of him.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you said his name, man, because I was going to mention him too, because I've really been a fan of what he has done, and McEwen too, man. Those two guys have been really great pickups. So I'm glad you mentioned his name.
Both of those guys are going to be, players that I am really going to hate to see get out of the lineup. When Wade Allison comes back, or when Ryan Ellis and a full complement of the D is there. I think Seeler is played phenomenal and offers that grit that the Flyers didn't really have on that defense. And of course, you'll still have it with Ramus still in the lineup. But I really like having more than one player with a little gumption to hit some people on the boards and go after somebody. It's good to see that aggressiveness in front of the net that he brings. So it's going to be interesting, and I would not want to have to make that decision that AV is going to have to make on when these guys come back healthy soon enough. So,
all right. Well, so now let's put you on the hot seat now. You just admitted that you wouldn't want to make that decision. Well, guess what? You're now AV, and you have to make that decision. Kevin Hayes now is coming back fully healthy. Ryan Ellis is coming back fully healthy. Boom. What do you do, Hotshot?
Well, I think I leave that second line alone.
I was hoping you'd go there.
I think I leave that alone. I don't think like I said, I don't think I throw Hayes in that fire right back to that many minutes as soon as he comes back. You don't want to rush him. You want him still to be around come playoff time. Mm-hmm. So I think I'd move him to the third line and try to get a spark out of that third line.
Perfect.
And and see that maybe drop down a Lawton and maybe play him on a wing still and take out NAK in that sense. I really don't think he's offering that much to the team right now, and I think his inability to hide from the refs at times really gets him in trouble because they seem to have his number. So I wouldn't mind taking him out of the lineup if I had to. That's the person I would take out offensively.
I'm with you. I mean, if I had my choice between bringing in Hayes or bringing in, Knack, that's easy for me. I'm putting Knack on the shelf.
Right. So put Knack on the shelf. I really like to keep McEwen in there, and I think Nate can handle that center role enough.
Nate Thompson, he's another one.
Yeah.
Who's been playing freaking as old as he is, right? And for this is his second go round. I mean, he's been playing really well.
I was really wondering why the team felt the need to bring him back. Of course, the penalty kill needed some help, and he's able to do that at times. But just the depth that I thought we had at center, it was kind of scary. But I'm glad they did bring him back, and he's played really well. And I think that would allow Lawton to be able to move back to wing. And do that. So, and I think that would be an absolute, blessing in disguise to be able to move him back to wing. And really, it would be 4 solid lines, even without Wade Allison back yet.
Okay, so now, this is what you got here. Now you got fourth line is. Oh, you just said it. Gosh, I had it.
We got Nate Thompson, you got McEwen, and then you would have Lawton. On the fourth.
Oh, man. And then you have, for your third line, you have Lindblom and Hayes
JVR.
And JVR. Yeah. And then second line, you leave the same with Farabee and Broussard and Atkinson, and then obviously the top line stays the same. And then when Ellis comes back, you drop Braun down, right? And unfortunately, we all know who I would drop out. It wouldn't be Braun, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
How's that? How's that for you? It would not be Braun. It would not be Braun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Sanheim go either.
Thank you. That's what I knew what you were going to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but I don't think the Flyers would ever do that. Of course, Sealer would be the easy pick to go move out of the lineup. But man, I would hate to see that kid get out of the lineup. He's going to make it a tough decision for him for sure.
I hope so.
But it's some depth in that lineup when we get everybody healthy, and who do you take out once Wade Allison comes back? That's a scary one too.
That's a good problem to have as well.
Yeah, that's a great problem to have here. So, absolutely. Like how the team is holding in there in the Metro. And really excited to see some of these players come back and, what they could bring to this lineup and, moving forward to playoff time. Of course, somebody else might go out, but I think that, like you said, Chuck has built this team with enough pieces or cogs to move around and just fill some holes when it arises. And that's something that they didn't have last season.
Exactly.
When we
Yeah.
went down last season, I think that with certain players getting injured, they had to stay in the lineup like Kevin Hayes did, even and play injured. And that kind of hurt us. And now they don't necessarily feel the need to make those things or rush back those guys when injuries occur, which is nice because this is what's going to have you, you know, making some long playoff stretches because some of these guys are going to come back. They missed some time, yes, but they're going to be ready to go and have some fresh kick, in their stride come playoff times. So I'm all for it.
I'm with you on that. Here's the other thing too. Look, Ellis, you mentioned it a little earlier about the fact that he's 30 years old and he's been in the league already for a couple of years already, but he has yet to play a full season. Like he, on average, misses 20 games a season. At least he has for the last 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take that into account. He's really only missed 5 games, right? Flyers are playing their 9th game as we're filming this.
6 tonight or something, he'll miss, yeah.
Okay, so but he's only missed 5 games, right? So we sadly, unfortunately, according to his average, we got 15 more to go. So if we get him back in another, say, game or 2, I'm cool with that. I would much rather him take the time to heal, and that is what I think. What we're talking about here is the breadth of this depth here on this team that is allowing Kevin Hayes to take his time and is allowing for Ryan Ellis to take his time. Look, nobody's pushing the panic buttons yet, and these guys are still able to take their time and get healed up because the team is still able to, like they're riding that storm. You know what I mean? Until we get to the end of the storm and we can switch out and bring in those guys who are riding the storm. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel is going on here. And as far as these guys, as far as I'm concerned, Braun has played really well. Nate Thompson has played really well. I've been really impressed with Sealer, McEwen. These guys have all been playing really, really good hockey as of late. And
I think Konechny's played really well. He's I mean, obviously he's, Travis Konechny and been paid, pretty well for his services, but he had a down year last year, and he's really come in and stepped up his game this season and is making the most out of playing on that top line. And to that credit, so is Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux has been there for years, but I think having Atkinson around to show him, hey, you could shoot the puck once in a while too, is an amazing thing because he's rifling them off again, and like he hasn't in so many years. So a lot of guys are still coming in, like you said, all these little people, even Patrick Braun in 2 games. He's come in and filled in and done what they've needed to do. But in doing so, they've also allowed for the people that get paid the big bucks to do what they're supposed to be doing as well. And that's why you saw so many, Sean Couturier with 11 points and Claude Giroux with double-digit points already, and Konechny's right up there with 7 points. Farabee already has 6. Amazing. This is what you want out of your top 2 lines. And
exactly.
The Flyers are not expecting or hoping in the tail end of a game for the 4th line guy and Michael Raffle, like in years past, to pull a goal out of his backside. To win a game, and that's very exciting to see that. Hey, it's nice when a $7 million guy and James Van Riemsdyk scores on the 3rd line. That's nice, but these top
on a regular basis.
Yeah, but these top 2 lines have been doing it on a regular basis, night in and night out for us this season, like they haven't in years past. So
thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you for saying that, because that is exactly what we have been talking about since we started doing this show, this team has lacked that offensive firepower that they used to have, that we were so spoiled with for so long. When you would look down at the Flyers roster and be like, wow, there's 10 guys on the team that have 20 goals.
Right.
I mean, when you have a plethora of players on your team like that, you make the playoffs 18 out of 20 years. Okay. So, our good friend of the show, right, Jim, said it best, and he said, this team is playing much better now than what they were last year, for sure, hands down. And the guys that didn't step up last year are stepping up this year. And here's the thing that he said. He said he felt that with Cam Atkinson on the team, it has inspired Giroux to do exactly with what you said, shoot a puck. So I'm with you. I think we've seen a Giroux from 7 years ago. I think that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, it's a contract year for him as well, and that's always plays into it a little bit. But I don't think that's the main reason why he's having such a great season this year. I think it is an electric player like Atkinson coming in and just skating every single shift, going full bore and doing everything he can to put that puck in the back of the net. And, whereas the only person he had before was the person that was traded for Atkinson, and all they would do is play hot potato with a puck back and forth when nobody wanting to shoot before.
Shoot the puck, yeah.
It's really the pieces that Chuck brought in this offseason, like we said before, had done so many and checked so many different boxes that that the team needed. It has opened up and just brought a refreshing, reset to this locker room. This roster had talent, but it was just so muddled down with the mundane, aspects of the game and stuff throughout the COVID and everything else, and using everything for an excuse. Well, I don't see many excuses anymore. I see, something happens, somebody go down with an injury, and the team just step up in that same token this year, and look at it as, okay, this is, some adversity that we're going to have to, be able to overcome here. And they simply just do it and go out and do it. And I think Keith Yandel is a guy that helps along with that as well.
Thank you.
Another name that, has been brought in on the cheap, that I've talked about before in past articles, who just has lit a fire into this team and into this locker room, and doesn't let that team get to that point of that mundane hockey. Yes, we lost the game. Okay, let's get it together for this next one
tomorrow. Right, yep. Tomorrow. You know what I mean? Listening to AV's press conferences, and he seems like a different coach from last year, if you ask me. Okay, I see. It's like, how when you see a confident player, like they're up on their skates, and it doesn't matter, and anywhere they want to sling the puck, it pretty much goes. He seems like he's like that right now. That's kind of where AV seems like he's at right now, where he is able to implement his system with more of the type of players that fit his system, with more of the type of guys that are going to coach his system, You know what I mean? And he just seems like a different kind of coach than what he was last year. Last year, there just seemed to be a bunch of this, like didn't have any answers. Now there's answers.
Yeah, I think a lot of things have contributed to that. Of course, the additions of his players, the Keith Yandles and the Broussards and the Atkinsons of the roster and the additions, and then you add in the Ristolainens, who maybe isn't his type of player, but who was needed, and the ability to fill those holes, Chuck Fletcher did. And he did so with his type players, where he was forced to coach players in the past that Nolan Patricks and Ghost and everything else that weren't really his type players that didn't fit his system. And to go along with that, not only were they not his type players last season, but he wasn't able to practice and try to implement his thoughts and theories and style of game into it so much. It was more of okay, go out there and get them, boys, because we're not allowed to practice.
Same thing we've been doing. Keep going.
Right. Just keep going. And then we, had to deal with COVID and guys being in and out of the lineup for that for an extended period of times. And on top of that, you got to think that he has one of his coaches now with him that Chuck brought in, and I'm sure AV was begging for, that has worked with him everywhere. He's pretty much been in the past, and really been able to, carry out his system, without having him be over there in the corner saying, hey, remember, this is how you do that. He knows the system. He's run the system for him on multiple different teams. So there's a comfortability there as well that AV has in him. So just a lot of things to really go out there. And Chuck has come out and laid so many and checked so many boxes off to really bring that comfortability not only to the team, but to AV as well. You hired this guy to come in, and this great coach, and paid him some pretty decent money to come coach this team.
Top five paid in the league. He's making $5 million a year.
Right. He's making more than most of the players out on the ice. So, in doing so, you got to get him his people and the tools he needs to best win. And this season, this offseason, Chuck did that, as far as coaching staff, as far as players, as far as, prospects that, are going to be coming up the pike. They're all AV guys. So, if you're going to put that much money into your coach, invest in them. And they finally did. So that's why I think that he seems comfortable because he can be.
Yeah.
He has guys that are willing to play his style of hockey, and and pawns and pieces out there like Atkinson to really make his system work.
Exactly. I don't see him out there asking guys to put on their big boy pants this year.
No, he's not out there pulling out his hair because he's saying the same thing 10 times over.
Yeah. And it's not getting through. You know what I mean?
And it's not getting through. So.
Yeah. So, but I wanted to point that out though, because I think AV has been, I was not necessarily on board with him being the selected coach for the Flyers, but I have to say that over the last couple of years, I've grown to have a respect for what he's trying to do with this team. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like his lack of physicality. I think he prefers more of the finesse type players, and that's all well and good. But I think you got to have a nice balance, and I think Chuck has really brought that to the lineup with Ristolainen and Sealer and McEwen. being able to come in, and guys like Nate Thompson, who can apparently still throw them like he did against the Seattle,
the Kraken.
Kraken. So, I think it's just a refreshing team overall. When you watch this team, they have everything they need. Would you want to, switch some players out still? Sure, there's still some stuff you can tinker on.
Oh yeah.
But overall, each player's defensive partner, even the goaltending pairing now, it seems to work, and it's really refreshing hockey right now, because I got to tell you, over the past couple of years, if I missed a game, I wasn't really that upset, and
right.
I could never say that, before. Like you said, this season, I've called every game, and I've watched a couple of times over to really, see what the team was doing. So it's the Flyers are back, and it's still early, but I think they're going to make a decent playoff push this year. If everything stays as it is, and some major injuries don't occur or anything like that. Knock on wood, but right.
Well, I'll tell you what, my man. You just keep writing them articles, and we'll just keep putting out these shows. And as long, it doesn't really matter what the Flyers do, because we'll just have something to talk about every time. So, no, but seriously though, Lance, I want to thank you very much, man, for all you do here at SteelFlyers All Sports Network. I want to thank you for what you do here, your contributions to the show. This whole thing wouldn't fly if it wouldn't be for what you do here, man. Okay. And so I just want to say thank you for all you do, and really appreciate it. And tell all the folks how they can follow you and where they can catch all your great articles. And do you have anything coming up?
I imagine I will, after I watch this, sit down and really watch this Pittsburgh game. I'm kicking around a couple of ideas for some new articles, but I would just like to also say that, as much as you say you appreciate me, I appreciate you for giving me this platform and agreeing to do the show with me every week and put up with me. So in that sense, we'll leave it there. But in that sense, you can always find my stuff at right here on SteelFlyers, and you can find me on Twitter at LNGBASSIST, the numbers 39. And my stuff is also out there on flyersnittygritty.com. And, our show will be posting there as well, if you want to check that out. Bleacher Report, just about anywhere where you go to find your Flyers information, you can find me there. So.
That's for sure. And we very much appreciate the fact that you do. And we just love all your great writing. So you just keep doing that, Mr. Writer Extraordinaire. Okay?
I will try.
There you go. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm SteelFlyers, your co-host. You can catch me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. That's SteelFlyers at number 52. You can also check all of us out from the SteelFlyers All Sports Network. That's the great Perlo Wisdom, the great Peyton on the radio, and all the great stuff from Off the Ball Hockey, and plus our show, the Hockey Writers Inc. as well, and the SteelFlyers podcast as well there too. So check us all out at SteelFlyers.com. Be looking for some swag coming out here real soon. I'm just waiting to hear the confirmation of when it's ready to go pick it up. So I'm excited and I can't wait. So what can I say? But at any rate, thank you all very much for watching, checking us out. Thank you very much to Jamie Baskow and FlyersNittyGritty.com for putting us out there on their site. You get the Hockey Writers Inc. salute. Mucho apreciado, sir. Thank you very much for all that and all your support. Thank you to all your support. You fans are the reason why we're here. You guys are the ones why we keep doing this. Please hit the like and subscribe. Let us know what you think and how you feel. We will catch you all on the next episode of the Hockey Writers Inc. Thank you all very much.